We're back again for Palms Podcast, and on this edition, we will be doing a reaction and also our pre-thoughts on the movie Us by Jordan Peele.
Nosotros.
I guess personally, I wasn't really big on trying to see this movie, honestly, because like I saw the previews and I was like, oh, it's just another movie, and like I was like, okay, who cares? But I've been convinced by her and others to go see this movie because apparently it's gonna require me to think, so maybe that'll make it interesting. What do you think?
I am excited because I loved watching Get Out. I thought it was really nice the way it was directed. I thought the cast was amazing, how everything played out was really cool. So I'm really excited to watch this movie, and I'm excited to see what's in store. Also, I just don't want to be spoiled on Twitter, so I had to watch it quick,
Understandable. What are your thoughts on what do you think it's going to be about?
Well, on the trailer, the whole thing that's supposed to be scary about it is that it's them, it's based on a family and the bad guys are them, but it's not really them. It looks like them, but it's not them. So I don't know what the deep meaning is. I mean, just watching the trailer and the movie named Us being Us, I guess, is what makes it like, ooh, that's interesting. No? Okay.
Anyways,
Are you excited?
I mean, no.
No? Why?
But, I mean, I'm going to go see the movie just so I can know what everyone's talking about. If my opinion changes, we'll know. We will know later on. That's it. We'll get back to you after the movie. So, we just returned from the movie. And if I have to be honest, I would say the movie is pretty good. And it left me thinking a lot. How did you feel about it?
Confused, but it was interesting.
Explain.
I was pretty good for 3/4 of the movie, and then towards the end I understood, I already knew what was gonna happen before it happened, but there were so many holes and questions that weren't really answered that I wish was answered.
So what is your take on what do you think the hidden messages were, and can you explain what led you to those theories, I might say?
Okay, so as I mentioned before the movie, it focuses as us, or whatever portrayal of us as the antagonists of the movie, right? Well, as we were watching the movie and they did the whole scares and everything, it's once they explained who they were, what really made me go WTF was oh, they explained themselves as America. And I was like, okay, so this is deeper. This is gotta really think a little bit deeper. And then there's the whole the concept of that there's another concept of us. There's a shadow of us that's underground, and they're wanting to come out and be in the light and blah 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 blah. And they describe themselves as America. It's a lot going on. I feel like each character had their own kind of portrayal, especially the antagonists of the story. Something that kept popping up was the number 11 and Jeremiah 11:11. And then after doing a little bit of research, it was about, I forgot who, but it's basically about somebody that's a leader for a group of people, basically just, I don't remember, specifically. But that's what Red, the main antagonist, was all about, was that she was looked as to be the leader because she was different amongst the whole underground people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know what else to explain. Like, there's a lot of different little parts of it that I'm just like, whoa. Like how they explained that they call themselves America, and then the title of the movie is Us. You know, like U.S., like United States and America. Ah, no?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think the whole idea of it is that there is an underground, like, thing that shows all these misconceptions and all these, like, I don't know how to explain it, of America. If that makes sense. Like, the whole ending of the movie is basically showing how everything's basically upside down as we know it, because the main character and the main antagonists are basically flip-flopping. Or we didn't think that the main protagonist was really the actual main protagonist. It was actually the antagonist. That makes sense.
So, okay, what she's referring to is one of the beginning scenes in the movie. It was a flashback to when she was a little girl, and she went into like the little House of Mirror thing at a carnival. And while she was down there, she said that there was another girl in there, and it showed that, like, in the beginning, it showed her just looking at the other girl and then, like, facing each other. But it didn't show, like, which one left. All it showed was that she was in the car. And at the end of the movie, they were, like, she was, like, sitting there after she had fought the person that was, like, trying to kill her, like, herself or whatever. She, like, had a flashback while she was driving her family. And because at the end, she found her son in the locker. And
the underground, because...
like in the underground. And whenever, like, she tried to grab his hand the way that, like, she usually normally grabs his hand, like, they do the little palm thing before bed every night, and, like, he didn't really do it, and she was kind of, like, confused. And as she was driving, she had the flashback, and it was like her parents were in therapy asking how they could get her to talk about what she saw. And then what really happened was, she was the girl that was the underground one. She was the shadow in the beginning, but she switched with her actual self. And so the only reason she couldn't tell her story was because she didn't know anything, and she was actually the shadow.
Anyways, I just feel like the movie was good in terms of, like, there was always something going on, and you're always like, okay, what does this mean? Okay, what does this mean? And at the same time, there are a lot of things that make you go, okay, what was the point of that? Like, the underground people, the shadows, they were eating rabbits for whatever reason. And it was like the underground is connected by a hall of mirrors, which is led down into, like, an escalator down into a hallway, and they're, like, individual rooms, and they're just rabbits everywhere. And I didn't really understand the connection between eating raw rabbits and the underground people. Did you have any kind of...
I feel like the rabbits have a big meaning to the movie as a whole, but I don't think we uncovered it yet.
Yeah, no. No. And then the whole idea of, like, what was it? What was the campaign about America holding hands and stuff?
Oh, Hands Across America.
Hands Across America. I think that was, like, the main basis of the underground shadows. Was that they were being led by the main antagonist. Her name is Red. And to basically go into the above ground and kill their
tethered self.
Their tethered self.
And
That's
they
right.
wanted to disconnect from their shadow, so by disconnecting from the shadow, they would kill the person that was living above ground. and that would untether them.
But what doesn't make sense is that when they go above ground, all they do is just tether to each other. Does that make sense? Like they're mimicking the Hands Across America campaign.
But the reason that it's untethered is because they killed their shadow or their real self. That means it's untethered. That means that they are free.
Which makes sense, but like once they were free, they just tethered themselves to the other shadows.
They were making a statement.
Which was?
That's not for me to know.
You see what I mean? That's why I'm just like, okay, there's something that's like important about this scene, but I don't really understand it.
We were left with many questions.
Very many questions.
But I'm sure, as the weeks go on, we'll probably understand more things because Twitter is just gonna tell us what everything means.
Like, why rabbits?
And in the meantime, those of you that view this, if you haven't seen the movie, I suggest you go see it. That way it doesn't get spoiled for you and you can probably find something out that we didn't.
Rabbits.
That's all we have today.